upon a time, there lived a peasant and his wife and children on a small hut by the seashore. He worked for a rich man as a farmer. After his tiring work, he used to come home where his wife had prepared his evening meal. He would sit down with great appetite, and after eating, he would sit with his wife and children and listen to the sound of the sea waves. He would tell his children stories about giants and witches and the great kings and warriors of ancient times. He lived a simple life where he and his wife found happiness and joy. And in his home, there was always the sound of laughter. Along the shore where the peasant lived in his simple hut, there was a great palace that a rich man had built. He had many servants and lived a life of great comfort. Yet all that could be heard from that house was the sound of anger between his servants and his wife. There was never a smile on the face of the unhappy man. The rich man could see the simple home of the peasant and was filled with joy and laughter. The rich man was jealous and he wanted to destroy the happiness and laughter that he hated to see every day. The rich man happened to be friends with the peasant's boss and was able to convince him that the peasant was a bad man. One evening, the peasant returned home and told his wife that he lost his job. "Never mind," his wife told him. "You are a good worker and will always find a job." The peasant spent the next 2 weeks going around in search for a job. He spent all his savings on food for his family until he had only a few piastres left. "Let us buy a bowl of beans with the last money," said the wife. "After that, all we can do is rely upon God to provide for us." His wife gave him a wooden bowl to bring back some cooked beans from the village. While he was returning home, he fell and the beans were spilled on the ground. It was the worst thing that ever happened to him. So instead of going home, he headed towards the shore and cleaned the bowl with water. After he cleaned it, he placed it on his head like a cap rather than carrying it. A small boat came close to shore, and the captain asked for help on the boat in return for some money and food. The peasant was very happy at the chance and swam aboard the boat. And once the boat was out to sea, a sudden storm broke out. But the peasant was lucky enough to find a plank of wood and arrived at a small island. He was surrounded by men carrying spears. Then he met the chief of the tribe. The chief looked at the poor peasant with his wooden bowl on his head. "And who are you?" asked the chief in a not friendly voice. The peasant told him his name and explained what had happened. "And what is that thing you have on your head?" asked the chief. "It's nothing but a wooden bowl," replied the peasant. "And why do you wear it on your head?" asked the chief. The peasant quickly replied, "Oh, chief, I wear it all the time. It protects me from the heat of the sun when it is hot, and it protects me from the rain." And the peasant passed the bowl to the chief. The chief looked at the bowl and said, "I like it." It is yours," said the peasant. "And I, in my return, must now give you a present." The chief gave the peasant a basket that was overflowing with sparkling red and green stones. The peasant couldn't believe his eyes. The peasant was very pleased and thanked the chief for his generosity and ordered his men to take the peasant back home. When the peasant returned home, he immediately sold one of his jewels and brought everything he and his wife needed for the house and did not have to worry about the future ever again. And once again, there was laughter and singing in the small hut on the shore of the sea. But this is not the end of the story. Remember the rich man who lived nearby? When he saw the peasant and his wife happy again, he went and paid a visit to the peasant's hut. The peasant simply told the rich man his journey to the island and how the chief got him all his jewels. The rich man thought to himself he wanted some jewels and he should pay a visit to the island to get a present. The next day, he prepared delicious food like ducks and chicken and set off for the island. And when he landed there, the tribe surrounded him, and the chief asked, "What has brought you here?" I wish to have the honor of meeting you," said the rich man. And the rich man offered his delicious food to the chief, and the tribe were satisfied. And the chief replied, "And now I must give you something in return for your generous gifts. To you I shall make a present of the thing I value most." The chief took the wooden bowl that the peasant gave him and placed it on the head of the rich man.